fire destroyed a central Kentucky home. We're tracking the investigation into what caused it.
The focus of the Democratic race for president is turning to Kentucky. We have team coverage of visits from former President Bill Clinton and his wife's challenger, Bernie Sanders.
An audit reveals the details of an equipment theft from the University of Kentucky, totaling nearly $250,000.
This is WKYT News at 5.
A massive fire destroyed a family's home today.
Firefighters were called to Browns Mill Road in Scott County near the Fayette County line about 10:30 this morning. Officer Don Evans shot this video of the flames as they destroyed that home. Now investigators want to know if this could be connected to other recent house fires across central Kentucky. WKYT's Monique Blair's live for us at the scene with our top story at 5. Monique?
Well, Sam and Amber, you can see what is left of this home out here on Browns Mill Road as it continues to burn to what looks like just a pile of rubber. In fact, firefighters are out here continuing to put out hot spots. But now investigators are trying to figure out what caused this fire.
It's been a pretty hot fire, a pretty big house. I'd say the house is probably 4,000 or 5,000 square feet.
This is the fourth fire since last Friday that has damaged a larger home. One happened at a home west of Nicholasville yesterday morning, and two on Friday, one in Jessamine County and one in Garrett County. Scott County firefighters say right now they are looking into all possibilities of how this fire started, but they say it is too early to determine a cause. This two-story home was collapsing as firefighters worked to put out the flames, but most of the home was engulfed when they got here.
I was thinking, I hope nobody was home and hope there was no pets or children or anything involved.
Scott County firefighters tell us no one was inside the home when it caught fire, but there was a family dog inside. And they say that dog did die in the fire.
When I came over here, the roof was gone and the whole front was engulfed. They were trying to get it knocked down in the front. And then to the left, I don't know what that room is on the far left of the house, but the roof caught on fire and then it caved in.
Now, since we are in a relatively rural area, the closest fire hydrant is 1 mile away, so crews had to shuttle water back and forth in order to contain the fire. Reporting live in Scott County, Monique Blair, WKYT.
Monique, thank you. And the homeowners were at work when that fire started. For the second day in a row, a Clinton campaigned here in Kentucky.
Bill Clinton made 3 stops across the state to rally support for wife Hillary Clinton's presidential bid. Our Sean Moody begins our campaign 2016 coverage with Clinton's visit to the University of Kentucky.
This was one of several events former President Bill Clinton had across Kentucky today as he tries to generate excitement across the state for his wife Hillary Clinton. Former President Bill Clinton found a friendlier atmosphere at UK than some of the other events over the past couple of days. Kentucky Secretary of State Allison Lundergan Grimes, a Clinton family friend, introduced the former president to the crowd.
Thank you.
For about a half hour, Clinton talked about a lot of the campaign talking points, including student loan debt, a big deal for this group of college students. He said his wife, Hillary Clinton, would make a difference for them if elected.
Pay it out over 20 years at a fixed income, never more, no matter how much you borrowed, than 10% of your after-tax income. Now think what this means. This would mean everybody could move out of their parents' house.
While this was a Hillary Clinton campaign event, a lot of people seemed more excited about seeing a former president.
You know, there's only been 44 presidents in the history of this great country, and just being able to be this close and to just be in the presence of someone like that is amazing.
Out from here, Clinton headed on to Louisville for his final campaign event of the day. In Lexington, Sean Moody, WKYT.
Before visiting UK, the former president paid a visit to Morehead State University. In a speech to supporters, Clinton focused on his wife's plans to create new jobs for coal mine and steel mill workers. Some MSU students say they're still undecided and want to see if the former president could win them over.
This is a great opportunity to see one of the greatest leaders in the history of the world. It's a great opportunity for our university and the Eastern Kentucky community, so I just had to take advantage of it.
Bill Clinton says his wife could create more jobs in the region by making it a hub for solar power and by replacing old water pipes. Hillary Clinton's rival, Bernie Sanders, is beginning a swing as well through Kentucky today.
He will be speaking at a rally in Louisville tonight. People have been lining up for hours to be a part of that event. WKYT's Garrett Weimer continues our campaign 2016 coverage live now from Louisville. Garrett?
Well, the gates were supposed to open at 4, but they opened really just a few minutes ago, and people are now filling up the Big 4 lawn here at Waterfront Park, where Bernie Sanders is expected to speak at a rally here a little bit later. Now, many have lined up for hours since the early morning before they could get in. Those folks here are definitely, and bear with me, I have to say it, feeling the burn, trying to avoid feeling the sunburn as well as they waited. The merchandise stand selling buttons, bandanas, and Bernie t-shirts have been popular. People of all ages are out here, many telling me they're here because it's a chance to be part of a special movement.
I just think it's a momentous occasion, whether he ends up being our president or not. He has just been doing this since the 1960s. He's incredible, and my kids love him, and they don't have school today, so I thought what a blessing to be able to bring them out and be a part of something that they really get to be a part of.
It's cloudy out here, but it has not rained yet, and folks I talk to say either way, they're really not worried about the weather. Live in Louisville, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Garrett, thank you. Sanders will hold a rally in Lexington tomorrow. It will be at Heritage Hall. Sanders spent the morning doing some last-minute campaigning in Indiana. Voters there have been heading to the polls for today's primary.
On the Republican side, if Donald Trump does well, it could pave the way for him to clinch the GOP nomination. Weijia Jiang continues our campaign 2016 coverage now from Indianapolis.
God bless you.
Thank you. Ted Cruz made a final push for voters in Indiana this morning, stopping by a barbecue restaurant in Evansville where he blasted his competitor.
I'm going to tell you what I really think of Donald Trump. This man is a pathological liar. He doesn't know the difference between truth and lies.
It's a crucial state for Cruz, but polls show Donald Trump has a 15-point lead. A victory could keep Trump on track to win the delegates he needs to clinch the Republican nomination.
If we win in Indiana, it's over with, folks.
The Democratic race is a little more clear. Even if Bernie Sanders wins the state, he will still be far behind Hillary Clinton in delegates needed for the nomination.
Indiana election officials are expecting a record turnout today. They say early voting numbers are already higher than the past two presidential primaries in 2008 and 2012.
We've noticed that voters are inspired. They are encouraged to get out and vote on today, so that's exciting.
I voted for Donald Trump.
Susan Ziegler says usually it's clear who will be the nominee by the time Indiana votes, but not this year.
Our voice actually may count.
57 delegates are at stake in the Republican race. Weijia Jiang, CBS News, Indianapolis.
Donald Trump made waves today when he tied Cruz's father to Lee Harvey Oswald, the man who assassinated President John F. Kennedy. Cruz called the accusation, quote, nuts. We're going to see a dip in temperatures as we head and continue this week towards the Derby.
Sounds like it. It is part of a front bringing us much more rain as well. WKYT Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey's here now with a check of your forecast. Hi, Chris.
Yeah, a little on the chilly side, guys. First week of May, we should be in the 70s. We're lucky to hit 60 into parts of the region this afternoon. Upper 50s to low 60s. Maysville 56 now, 59 here in Mount Sterling. Areas to our north have been dealing with a little more in the way of some spotty showers. Defender radar network in a moment, though. It's 61 Lexington. Humidity's up there 58%, so kind of a raw day. And we're seeing a couple of sprinkles and light showers northern parts of the area. Farther south and southwest that we go, skies have at least been showing a partly cloudy sky with a hint of some sunshine from time to time. Any shower action this evening, kind of few and far between, but as we go into the day tomorrow, we're going to fire up some action coming in from the north. That's a cold front that is dropping its way across parts of the western Great Lakes, the Midwest, and by tomorrow at this time, it is right on top of central and eastern Kentucky. That means gusty showers and a rumble of thunder tomorrow afternoon as chilly temperatures continue. And guys, it's all eyes on your Kentucky Derby weekend forecast. We'll break it down for you hour by hour when I come back in a few.
It's an all-important forecast, Chris. Thank you. We are learning some new details about a theft at the University of Kentucky. The university says an audit shows a former employee purchased nearly $250,000 in items he intended to sell on eBay. WKYT's Victor Puente shows us the claims.
A UK spokesperson tells me at first they suspended this employee, before eventually firing him while their internal audit continued. The university says they fired Steve Ellis in September. He had worked in the physics and astronomy department for 10 years. They say they were tipped off by another employee. That led to a university audit that uncovered nearly $250,000 in what they're referring to as inappropriate purchases. Ellis is accused of using his position to buy lab equipment that he intended to sell on eBay.
He had also done the same thing with some items that had been donated to the department, again, some equipment.
UK police say they also seized property from storage units rented by Ellis, including desktop computers, lab equipment, and projectors.
The amount is small in the context of a large college budget, to be sure, but it was a breach of trust and a breach of the ethics and the culture that we have at this institution. So we took steps to correct it.
The findings were presented this morning to the audit committee of the UK Board of Trustees.
So he had too much authority. So what the college has done, working with our internal audit division, is worked very vigorously to add additional processes, additional layers of approval, better reconciliation of items as they are purchased, centralizing some of those processes so we can take steps to ensure that something like this doesn't happen again.
There haven't been any charges filed in this case. The University of Kentucky police say they're working with the U.S. Attorney's Office. I spoke to Ellis this morning by phone. He said he had no comment on those claims. In Lexington, Victor Puente, WKYT.
Blanton says Ellis was also keeping royalties from lab manuals that were supposed to go to the university. Navy SEAL has died in Iraq.
A U.S. official says the SEAL was killed by fire from ISIS during an attack outside Mosul. It's the third death of a U.S. service member in Iraq since a U.S.-led coalition launched its campaign against ISIS militants in the summer of 2014. The SEAL's name has not been released. Family members said goodbye to 6 murder victims today. The memorial service comes a little over a week since 8 members of the Roden family were killed in Piketon, Ohio. Investigators have said the family was targeted, so sheriff's deputies provide extra security for the funeral. No arrests have been made so far in the murders.
A woman has died from injuries she suffered in a crash last month. Our county-by-county coverage begins in Breathitt County. State police say an SUV hit the car 47-year-old Christine Neese was riding in on Kentucky 15. She was taken to UK Hospital where she died on Monday morning. 2 other people suffered non-life-threatening injuries in that crash. Visitation is underway for a woman killed in a Rowan County crash. Sarah Caudle died when her car collided with another head-on on Kentucky 32 on Saturday. Her visitation began at 4:30 this afternoon at Owingsville First Church of God. Her funeral is at 2 tomorrow afternoon, also at that church.
Thousands of people will head to Louisville, of course, Saturday to enjoy the Kentucky Derby. Those fans have been asked, though, to be on alert for something darker surrounding the race. The Attorney General and local advocates want anyone who encounters a possible case of human trafficking to report it. Andy Bashir says criminals take advantage of the Derby to traffic children and adults for sex or labor.
These criminals see an opportunity with just the massive number of people that come in. And any victim that we can save during Derby is likely a victim that has been in that system, in that criminal activity for a period of time. So everybody that we can pull out is somebody that needs us so badly.
The signs of someone who is being used in human trafficking include someone who is reluctant to talk to outsiders, someone who can't tell you where they are staying, and someone who doesn't know what time it is or what city they're in.
It is time now for Better Living, health, education, and consumer news that impacts your life. Children with autism are being diagnosed at a younger age. Experts say they have seen the change since the American Academy of Pediatrics altered their diagnosis guidelines in 2007. The team looked at children diagnosed between 2003 and 2012. They found the average age of diagnosis for children born before 2005 was just under 4 years old. For children born after 2005, the diagnosis age was 2.5. A husband and wife team decided that children should be able to learn beyond 4 walls. They launched a program that is taught outside. Greg Boswell attended a Tinkergarten class in Maryland.
Come to Tinkergarten.
These kids aren't just playing outside, they're learning.
First of all, it's problem solving, it's creative, they're using their imagination.
These preschoolers are learning how birds build their nests.
What does an owl say?
Satara Gandhari brings her 2.5-year-old daughter Avanush to Tinkergarten. Her older sister also went.
Everyone is always happier and
just the mood is better, and there's so much to explore, and there's not so many distractions outside.
Tinkergarten is Megan and Brian Fitzgerald's brainchild. She used to be a school teacher. He worked in technology.
Our goal is to bring high-quality early childhood education and make that accessible in every community.
Tinkergarten instructors are vetted and trained online and provided with a curriculum and materials. Corey Watts is a veterinarian who moonlights as a Tinkergarten teacher.
So I'm a leader, the parents are guides, the children are explorers.
A one-hour class costs between $15 and $40. And every lesson is a breath of fresh air. Craig Boswell, CBS News, Chevy Chase, Maryland.
Tinkergarten started in Brooklyn and is now available in 14 states. If you are thinking about going on a trip, now is a good time to book your flights. The average price of an airline ticket has dropped to $363. That's according to the Department of Transportation. That is the lowest price since 2010. A big part of the drop is due to cheaper oil. Paying less for oil helps airlines profit, and the savings can then be passed on to you. Now, here's what's coming up at 5:30.